Persistence is the iron will that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. It is the force that bridges the gap between dreams and reality, the discipline that separates the hopeful from the triumphant. In every story of lasting success, you will find this quality quiet, steady, and relentless at the heart of it all. Many people possess talent, intelligence, and ambition, but only those who persist, day after day, when progress is slow or the road is hard, ever reach the summit of their desires. Let me be clear. Persistence is not about stubbornness or blind repetition. It is the intelligent, purposeful continuation of effort, guided by feedback, wisdom, and an unwavering commitment to your chief aim. Life will always test your resolve. Setbacks, delays, even outright failures are inevitable on the path to success. But those who cultivate persistence see these not as reasons to quit, but as invitations to grow stronger, to adapt, to prove first to themselves, then to the world that they will not be denied. You may look at the world's great achievers and imagine they moved from victory to victory, but the truth is far different. Each one met disappointment, faced rejection, and endured stretches where nothing seemed to work. What set them apart was not luck, but their refusal to surrender. They found new ways to try, new lessons in every loss, and a determination that would not yield to discouragement. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before the light bulb finally shone. Abraham Lincoln lost election after election before becoming one of history's most celebrated presidents. Every step forward was paved with persistence. Why is persistence so rare? Because it demands more than excitement, it demands character. When the thrill of a new goal fades, when the applause dies down, and when progress slows to a crawl, persistence is what keeps you moving. It is built in the quiet moments, the lonely hours, when no one is watching. It is a habit formed by doing what you said you would do, not once or twice, but until the work is done. To develop persistence, you must start with a definite purpose. A vague wish will not carry you through adversity. Only a burning desire, a clear vision of what you want and why you want it, can fuel you when obstacles rise. Write down your goal. Read it each morning and night. Let it become a promise to yourself, a vow that you will not quit until you have done all you can. Surround yourself with reminders of your commitment. Place encouraging words where you can see them. Share your dream with people who believe in you and will hold you accountable. Most importantly, prepare yourself for setbacks. See them not as defeats but as teachers. Each challenge, each obstacle, each delay is an opportunity to refine your plan, strengthen your resolve, and deepen your resourcefulness. Persistence is also fueled by belief. You must believe in your ability to succeed, even when evidence is scarce. When others doubt, when results are slow, you must become your own source of encouragement. Tell yourself, I am moving forward. Every effort counts. I will not give up. So as you begin this chapter on persistence, decide now, will you be the one who quits at the first sign of trouble, or the one who keeps climbing when the path grows steep? The answer you give written not in words but in actions will determine the story of your life. For in the end, it is not talent, luck, or circumstance that writes the script of your destiny. It is persistence, the habit of refusing to quit, that makes the impossible possible. You will soon discover that persistence is not built overnight. It is forged through repeated action, through the decision to rise again and again in the face of resistance. Each day brings new opportunities to strengthen this muscle. A challenge at work, a moment of self-doubt, a setback in your plans. It is in these moments, more than in any victory, that the habit of persistence is formed. Too many people stop short of their goal, not because they lack ability, but because they give up too soon. They start with excitement, but let discouragement, criticism, or fatigue erode their commitment. The difference between the person who succeeds and the one who falls short is rarely as great as it seems often. It is just a matter of who is willing to keep moving when progress is slow. Persistence thrives on small, consistent effort. Grand gestures may look impressive, but it is the daily practice, making one more call, writing one more page, refining your skill for just a few more minutes, that moves you steadily forward. This steady effort builds momentum, and momentum is a force that carries you through obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Let's talk about setbacks, for they are the true testing ground of persistence. Every person who accomplishes something meaningful has faced moments when giving up seemed easier, even logical. The business owner who faces financial hardship, the athlete recovering from injury, the student who fails an important exam must choose, in that moment, whether to let defeat have the final word. The persistent person sees these moments not as endings, but as beginnings, a chance to learn, adjust, and try again, better prepared. One of the most powerful tools in developing persistence is tracking your progress. Record your small wins and review them when doubt creeps in. Every step you take, no matter how small, is evidence that you are moving in the right direction. Let these milestones remind you that growth is not always visible day to day, but it is always happening for those who refuse to quit. Support also matters. Surround yourself with people who value persistence, who model resilience, and encourage you when your spirit falters. A supportive word at the right moment can reignite your determination and keep you on the path. But remember, persistence is ultimately an inside job. You must be willing to encourage yourself, to draw strength from your purpose, and remind yourself why you started in the first place. When you cultivate persistence, life begins to respond in kind. Opportunities arise not by accident, but as a result of your relentless pursuit. Doors that were once closed start to open. People notice your commitment, your willingness to endure, and they are drawn to support and collaborate with you. This is not luck, it is the law of cause and effect in action. So today, promise yourself that you will keep going, no matter how long the road or how steep the climb. Make persistence your daily habit, your silent ally, and your greatest competitive advantage. Every step you take is a step closer to your goal. Each act of perseverance shapes your character and prepares you for even greater victories ahead. Persistence is the golden thread woven through every chapter of success. It is the quality that turns ordinary people into giants, ideas into inventions, and dreams into reality. Each time you choose to press on, even when the odds seem stacked against you, you are building a legacy-owned brick, one day, one decision at a time. Let's look closer at how persistence changes you from within. With each act of perseverance, you cultivate a deep resilience that goes beyond the surface. You begin to trust in your ability to weather storms, to solve problems, and to recover from setbacks. This quiet confidence grows not from easy victories, but from the challenges you refuse to let defeat you. It's important to understand that setbacks are not signals to stop, but signals to adapt. Often, when the path is blocked, it's persistence that urges you to look for another way, to change your approach, learn a new skill, seek fresh advice, or simply outlast the obstacle. Many times, the breakthrough you seek is just beyond the point where most give up. The difference between failure and success is often just a single, determined step. Persistence is a habit, and like any habit, it must be trained. It begins with your attitude toward difficulty. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the persistent person asks, "What can I learn? How can I move forward?" This shift in mindset transforms every challenge into a lesson, every problem into a stepping stone. Consider the power of visualization. Persistent people see their goals not as distant possibilities, but as realities in the making. They review their dreams daily, picture the finished result, and let that vision pull them through the tough days. The mind, once convinced of a worthy goal, becomes an ally finding solutions, noticing opportunities, and fueling your energy to continue. Remember, persistence is contagious. When others see your determination, your unwillingness to give up, they are inspired to raise their own standards. You become a beacon, not only lighting the way for yourself, but showing what is possible for everyone around you. Yet, persistence does not mean never resting. Even the most driven achievers need renewal. It's wise to pause, to catch your breath, to celebrate progress along the way. Rest is not a sign of weakness, but a strategy for endurance. When you take care of yourself, you return to your pursuit with even greater strength. So, as you continue along your path, embrace each challenge as an opportunity to grow your persistence. Know that every step, no matter how small, is progress. Every day you show up, you are building a future no setback can erase. Let persistence be your promise to yourself, that you will not quit, that you will not be turned aside, that you will keep moving forward until your vision is real. Persistence is not simply a matter of stubbornness or willpower. It is the deliberate cultivation of hope in action. It is the commitment to continue, to adapt, and to refine your strategy until you succeed. The truly persistent are not immune to discouragement, but they refuse to let setbacks have the final word. They understand that even the longest journey is completed one step at a time, and that no single defeat can define their story unless they allow it. There is a quiet wisdom in persistence. With each day that you choose to persevere, you gain new insight into your strengths and weaknesses. The obstacles you face become your teachers, showing you where you must grow, what you must learn, and how you can improve. Every challenge is a mirror, reflecting your capacity for courage and resilience. One of the secrets to lasting persistence is breaking your goal into smaller, manageable parts. When the mountain ahead seems too steep, focus on the next foothold. Complete one small task, then another. Celebrate each bit of progress, no matter how minor. This builds momentum, and momentum makes the impossible feel possible. Remember, even the greatest achievements began with a single decision to take the first step and then the next. Surround yourself with inspiration. Read the stories of those who have triumphed over adversity. Remind yourself that every legendary figure faced doubts, failures, and moments of exhaustion. What set them apart was not a life free of struggle, but the refusal to let struggle win. They used adversity as fuel, turning pain into motivation and setbacks into stepping stones. Let's not overlook the role of belief. Persistence is sustained by a faith in your own ability to adapt and overcome. Doubt will knock at your door, often dressed as reason or practicality. Welcome it, examine it, but do not let it take control. Instead, renew your belief each morning. Affirm your purpose, remember your vision, and keep your eyes fixed on the outcome you desire. And yes, persistence sometimes means asking for help. The journey is not meant to be traveled alone. Seek out mentors, allies, and companions who share your commitment to growth. Allow their experience and encouragement to bolster your resolve when your own is wavering. There is no weakness in reaching out. In fact, it is a sign of strength and wisdom. Persistence transforms you. It sharpens your mind, tempers your spirit, and deepens your gratitude for every victory, no matter how small. As you continue, you'll find that persistence is not only the road to achievement, it is its own reward. You become someone who can be relied on, who stands firm in the storm, and who inspires others by your example. So, as the road winds and the climb grows steep, remember that persistence is your greatest ally. Make it the foundation of your daily actions. Trust that each step forward, no matter how uncertain, is bringing you closer to the life you imagine. In time, the world will see what you already know, that nothing can stop the person who refuses to give up. Persistence, when truly embraced, becomes your invisible partner in every pursuit. It is there in the early mornings when motivation runs thin, in the late nights when fatigue whispers that you have done enough, and in the silent hours when your only companion is the memory of your promise to yourself. It is in these quiet moments, unseen by the world, that your character is forged and your destiny shaped. You will find that persistent effort creates its own momentum. Like a river carving through rock, steady action, repeated day after day, overcomes the largest obstacles. You may not see progress at first. In fact, there will be days when your efforts seem to vanish into thin air. But be patient. Trust that the compounding effect of your daily actions is at work, building strength, skill, and opportunity beneath the surface. Persistence is also a form of self-respect. Each time you choose not to give up, you reinforce your belief in your own worth. You tell yourself and the world that your dreams matter, that your word means something, that you are the kind of person who finishes what they start. This inner conviction is a magnet for success, drawing opportunities and allies who respect your commitment and are inspired by your example. Let's address a simple but powerful truth. Most people quit too soon. They give up at the first sign of resistance, mistaking temporary difficulty for permanent defeat. The persistent person, on the other hand, understands that adversity is part of the process. Obstacles are not there to stop you, but to strengthen you, to teach, refine, and prepare you for greater victories ahead. When you feel your resolve waning, remember why you started. Return to your vision. Picture the life you are building, the impact you want to make, the future self you are becoming. Let this vision reignite your determination. Even when progress is slow, even when setbacks accumulate, remind yourself that every step forward counts. Persistence is sustained not just by discipline, but by hope. Hope that your efforts matter, that change is possible, that you have the power to influence your future. Feed this hope daily. Reflect on your wins, no matter how small. Celebrate progress. Find inspiration in the stories of others who persisted and let their example light the way through your own challenges. Never underestimate the power of encouragement, whether from yourself or others. Speak words of strength to your own heart. Surround yourself with people who believe in your ability to overcome. When you stumble and you will get up, dust yourself off, and keep going. The only real failure is the decision to quit. So let persistence become your trademark. Make it visible in every action, every goal, every promise you keep. Let the world see that you are a person who stands firm, who finishes, who refuses to let setbacks define you. In the end, the results you achieve are the sum of countless moments when you chose to persist, when you decided that your dream was worth one more try. There is a moment in every worthwhile endeavor when doubt creeps in and everything inside you wants to turn back. Perhaps the results have not come as quickly as you hoped. Perhaps criticism has made you question your direction, or perhaps fatigue has dulled your passion, and the spark that once lit your journey has dimmed. It is precisely in these moments that persistence proves its worth. Persistence is not about never feeling discouraged. It is about acting in spite of discouragement. It is the decision, repeated over and over, to take one more step, to give one more effort, even when your heart is heavy or your mind is full of questions. This is where ordinary people become extraordinary, not because they are immune to struggle, but because they refuse to surrender to it. Let's remember, every accomplishment worth celebrating was born in adversity. The inventor who faces 1,000 failed experiments, the entrepreneur who works years before their first breakthrough, the artist who endures rejection after rejection each, is tested by trials that would cause most to quit. Their secret is not some mystical talent or luck, but the habit of getting up one more time than they fall. Persistence transforms the way you respond to failure. Instead of seeing it as a sign to give up, you view it as feedback, a clue that leads to a better approach, a new strategy, or a deeper understanding. Each setback becomes an opportunity to grow wiser, stronger, and more resilient. Over time, you develop a faith in yourself and your process that cannot be shaken by temporary defeat. One of the most effective ways to sustain persistence is to connect daily with your purpose. Review your goals, reflect on your vision, and remind yourself of the reasons you set out on this journey. Purpose fuels persistence. It turns obstacles into challenges to be overcome, rather than barriers to retreat from. Write your purpose somewhere you can see it. Let it be a lighthouse in the fog. Another key is to keep your actions small and manageable. When the mountain feels too high, focus on the next step. Break your work into pieces you can finish today. Celebrate each completion. Each small win is a deposit in your account of confidence, a resource you'll draw on when the road grows steep. Surround yourself with encouragement. Find voices within and without that remind you of your strength. Avoid those who scoff or belittle your efforts. Their doubts are not your burden to carry. Instead, seek out allies and mentors who can guide you forward and be willing to share your journey with others. Sometimes, the simple act of saying, "I will not quit," out loud is enough to rekindle your fire. As you persist, remember to care for yourself, rest when needed, reflect on your progress. Replenish your spirit with gratitude for how far you've come, and trust that each new day is a chance to prove your resilience again. So, let persistence be your answer to every challenge. Make it your promise to yourself and your gift to the world. With each act of determination, you carve a path that others can follow, and you write a story that will be remembered, not for the ease of your journey, but for the courage of your resolve. Persistence is a quiet, steady power of force that does not shout or demand attention, but instead speaks through action. It is the habit of doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, and returning to your purpose each time you're tempted to stray. While others are distracted by fleeting pleasures or short-term setbacks, the persistent person keeps moving forward, step by determined step. The greatest breakthroughs often come after the longest periods of struggle. It's as if the world tests your resolve, asking, "How much do you want this? Will you keep going when results seem out of reach?" Most people turn back when the finish line is just around the corner. But those who persist, who hold fast to their vision, are rewarded, not only with achievement, but with a sense of pride and fulfillment that no easy victory could ever bring. It's important to build rituals that anchor your persistence. Whether it's a morning routine that sets your intention, a daily review of your goals, or a weekly celebration of progress, these habits keep your focus sharp. They remind you, even on the toughest days, that your journey is bigger than any one setback. Remember, persistence is not about brute force, it's about adaptability. Sometimes the path to your goal is blocked, and sheer effort will only leave you exhausted. The persistent person is willing to change strategies, seek new advice, and learn from failure. Flexibility is not a sign of weakness, it's a mark of wisdom. If your first plan doesn't work, let persistence fuel your creativity, not your frustration. Let's not forget the emotional strength persistence builds. Each time you overcome discouragement, you develop resilience, a quality that serves you not just in this pursuit, but in every aspect of life. You learn to trust your ability to recover, to adapt, and to press on, regardless of circumstances. Over time, this inner strength becomes your greatest asset, giving you the courage to take on bigger challenges and reach for higher dreams. Surround yourself with reminders of how far you've come. Review your progress, acknowledge your growth, and use these victories as fuel for the next stage of your journey. When the way forward seems unclear, look back at all you've already overcome. Let your past persistence become proof that you can endure, no matter what lies ahead. Lastly, inspire others by your example. Your quiet determination, your refusal to quit, your willingness to try again, these are gifts you offer not just to yourself, but to everyone who watches. In a world hungry for hope, persistence is your contribution. Show those around you what it means to stand firm in your purpose, to keep moving forward, and to believe in the power of one more step. So, as the road stretches on, hold persistence close. Let it be the companion that sees you through every trial, the strength that carries you across every finish line, and the legacy you leave for others to follow. The further you travel the road of persistence, the more you'll see that its greatest power is not only in the goals you reach, but in the person you become along the way. With every act of perseverance, you deepen your self-respect. You prove day after day that your promises to yourself are not empty. This consistency becomes the foundation for a new level of self-trust that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others or the challenges of circumstance. Persistence teaches you patience. You learn to accept that progress is not always linear. Some days bring rapid advancement, others only small steps, and sometimes simply holding your ground is the victory. But every effort, no matter how modest, compounds over time. The persistent soul is not discouraged by slow results, for they understand that the seeds they plant today will bear fruit in the seasons ahead. You'll also notice how persistence sharpens your priorities. As you continue to move forward, you become better at saying no to distractions and yes to what truly matters. You stop chasing every opportunity, every trend, every passing desire, and start focusing on what is aligned with your purpose. This focus frees your energy and allows you to make meaningful progress, instead of scattering your efforts. In times of challenge, persistence becomes your anchor. When the winds of doubt or the storms of adversity threaten to pull you off course, you return to your habits, your vision, and your why. This steady return is not glamorous or loud, but it is powerful. It is the engine that drives all transformation, the discipline that outlasts every obstacle. Let's not forget the ripple effect of your persistence. Others watch your journey. Your refusal to quit, your ability to show up again and again, inspires those around you to do the same. Whether you realize it or not, your determination becomes a beacon for friends, family, and even strangers. Sometimes, the very act of persisting gives someone else permission to believe in themselves. There's also a quiet joy in persistence. Each milestone reached, each challenge overcome, brings not just external rewards, but a sense of inner fulfillment. You realize you are capable of much more than you once believed. You gain pride not only in your achievements, but in your endurance, your ability to keep going, even when the path is uncertain. So, keep building this habit. Let persistence be your answer to every doubt, every setback, every moment of fear. Remember that what you do each day matters far more than what you do once in a while. Progress, however slow, is still progress. Every time you choose to continue, you add another stone to the foundation of your success. As you look ahead, know that persistence is both the journey and the reward. It is the quiet companion that stays with you through every season, the strength that multiplies with use, and the quality that turns dreams into reality. Make it your ally, and there is nothing you cannot achieve. As your journey continues, you'll discover that persistence does not just create result, it transforms you from the inside out. Each time you push through resistance, you are not only moving closer to your external goal, but forging the inner character that makes true success possible. With every step, persistence reshapes your relationship to fear, doubt, and even failure itself. No one is born with an unbreakable will. Persistence is built one decision at a time, often in the face of discomfort. It is not about feeling brave every moment. It is about acting with courage when the feeling is gone. It's about standing up again after disappointment, about returning to your purpose even when enthusiasm has faded and no one is cheering you on. This is the silent work, the work that few see, but that shapes legends. Along the way, you will find that your persistent actions start to inspire others. People are drawn to those who refuse to give up, who show by example that commitment matters more than momentary excitement. Your steady progress becomes encouragement for those who struggle, and your discipline gives hope to those who doubt. In this way, your persistence becomes a gift, rippling outward to touch lives you may never even know. Let's speak honestly. The greatest challenges often appear just before the breakthrough. There is a point on every journey where fatigue, frustration, or setbacks combine to make quitting seem logical. But if you look at the history of great achievements, you'll see that those who succeeded were often those who simply held on a little longer, who trusted that one more effort, one more day, could make all the difference. The discipline of persistence teaches you to value the process, not just the outcome. You become less attached to immediate results and more invested in growth, learning, and self-mastery. Each struggle becomes a lesson, each failure a stepping stone. Over time, you realize that it is not victory alone that brings fulfillment, but the journey itself, the effort, the growth, the pride of knowing you did not give up. Your daily rituals, writing your goals, tracking your progress, reviewing your why, become your anchors. They pull you back to center when you wander and keep you grounded in your commitment. Celebrate the progress you've made. Reflect on the obstacles you've overcome. Let gratitude for the journey sustain you, especially when new challenges arise. And never forget, you are not alone. Every person who has built something worthwhile has walked this path, has faced the same moments of doubt, and has had to choose persistence over ease. Draw strength from their stories, and let your own journey become a testament to what is possible when one person decides not to quit. So keep going. Trust the process, honor your commitments, and remember that persistence is not a trait reserved for the lucky few. It is the right and the responsibility of everyone with a dream worth pursuing. As we close this journey, let me offer you the simple truth that underlies all achievement. Persistence is the master key. Talent opens doors, opportunity lights the path, but only persistence carries you through storms, setbacks, and long stretches where success seems a distant dream. It is the quiet force that whispers, "Try again," when others say, "Give up." It is the decision to act today, tomorrow, and the day after until the result is won. Persistence is not dramatic or glamorous. It often works in silence, in the early hours before dawn and the late hours after the world has gone to sleep. It's the steady hand on the plow, the willingness to show up, the courage to believe that your efforts matter even when results are hidden from view. This is the habit that separates the hopeful from the fulfilled, the dreamers from the doers, and those who start from those who finish. If you remember nothing else, remember this. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is often one more try, one more page, one more call, one more day of effort. Each act of perseverance, each refusal to surrender, each step taken in faith compounds into an unbreakable force. In time, the world yields to those who will not yield. As you look to the future, make persistence your daily companion. Let it guide your choices, fuel your actions, and shape your story. When discouragement comes, and it will remind yourself of the purpose that set you on this path, stand firm. Trust that no effort is wasted, that every challenge is shaping you, and that every victory begins with the courage to continue. You are the author of your destiny. With persistence as your ally, there is nothing you cannot overcome, no dream you cannot reach, and no legacy you cannot build. Let your life be the proof that greatness is not reserved for the lucky or the gifted, but for those who simply refuse to quit. Rise each day with resolve, end each day with pride, and carry forward the truth that has shaped every success in history. Persistence is power. The world is waiting for those who will not stop.